Remember what quartiles are from previous years? Let's make a quick recap. We already know what the median of a data set is. The median divides the data set into two equal parts, the upper part and the lower part. You can think of the quartiles as the median of each one of these parts. So you have the Q1, which is the median of the lower part. It basically divides the whole data set in, it is the first quarter of the whole data set, hence the name quartile. And for the second half, you have the Q3, which divides the second half also in two equal parts. So basically you have the Q1 and the Q3, and they are defined as the median of the lower half set and the median of the upper half set. Q2, using this nomenclature, is going to represent the set's median. What is the interquartile range, or IQR for short? It's the difference between Q3 and Q1. This is particularly useful to detect outliers. What is considered an outlier is any data point that is either 1.5 times the interquartile range below the Q1, if it is a very small value, or 1.5 times the interquartile range above the Q3, if it is a very large value. Statistically speaking, that's how you detect outliers. For small data sets, you can do, I think that you talked about this in previous years as well, Box-and-whisker plots. What is this? This is a very useful representation of small data sets in which you have here a scale, in which you are able to plot the information. You have a line that goes from the smallest possible value to the biggest possible value, if this is known. And then you have the actual box that is limited by the Q1, the first quartile, the third quartile, that's going to be the other limit of the box, and you have a line in the middle that corresponds to the median, the Q2. All right, so you'll have 50% of the information is contained within this box. For large sets of data, we can use instead a cumulative frequency graph. You remember what cumulative frequency is? The cumulative frequency is calculated out of a frequency graph by adding the frequencies top down. If you have a histogram, you'll need to retrieve that information from the histogram. We already talked on how to get the frequency out of a histogram by calculating the areas of each column. And then what do? You basically start plotting points for each line of this frequency table, and then you draw a line corresponding to the information that you get from there, eventually ending up with the total number of data items that you have. Once you have this, it's very easy for you to graphically determine the median, the lower quartile, the upper quartile, and the interquartile range. What you do, if this is n, the median corresponds to n over 2. So half of this is going to be over here. Draw a horizontal line until you meet the graph, go down, and this is going to be the median. Divide this in 2 again, and you'll have the lower quartile. Draw a line until here, go down, and this is going to be the value. Do the same thing for the upper half. This is going to be the 3n over 4 is the upper. It divides the upper part into equal parts. So go over here, go down, and you'll have the Q3. Once you have this, you can get the interquartile range.